Well, I came to the Laurel Hill Cemetery to show you guys it. It's really cool old cemetery. So this is the Mount Laurel, jeez. I'll have to edit that out. This is the Laurel Hill Cemetery. It's off of Ridge Avenue in North Philly. In fact, a video I made the other day in Fairmount Park, this actually butts up to that park. In fact, and they actually tried to expand this cemetery, but Fairmount Park had already, I guess, taken over the land, so they kind of like butt up to each other here. But this is where a lot of famous Civil War generals, the Stetson hat gentleman, I believe one of the Hatfields is in here. Hold on, I got a paper. I'll name some of the people. See if you guys recognize any of these names. Never mind. I don't know any of them. Well, we'll keep walking and see. There are Civil War generals, stuff like that. But it's amazing back here. I mean, look. And I have the drone with me, so I'm gonna do a flyover of this place, which is, if I'm honest, the real reason I came here. But this place is awesome to show you. Here. Like, look at this. And it goes up to right up to Kelly Drive that I was talking about. If you remember where the Boathouse Row was. So you'll see the water. We'll walk over that way now. This cemetery actually has a little meaning to me. Well, if I used to live in Roxborough, that's my neighborhood, and at the end of my addiction, I used to have to take the bus from Roxborough. It'd come down Ridge Avenue and it'd stop at Allegheny Avenue or Lehigh, I forget which one. And I would get off the bus there and I'd jump on a different bus that went down Allegheny Ave to go into Kensington, North Philly. And then I'd take the reverse trip on the way back. But and like I always talk about how scary it was, getting out of Kensington with your drugs. When the cops were arresting, locking everyone up for it, what they used to do. So the bus stop I used to get off of is right down here. And there'd be just enough time for me to run into here in the cemetery and shoot up my heroin. And then get back to the bus stop and get home. Because I couldn't wait that much longer. This is so cool back in here, though. I figured I'd just do a walk around and then I'll sprinkle the drone shots in it. But I'm going to show you the view here over into the Schuylkill. See, that's Kelly Drive down there. The Schuylkill. And that way is my old neighborhood of Roxborough. We're gonna go over to the crypts now. We'll see these things. These are so cool. Oh wait, hold on. No, I didn't mean to do that. Dummy. You know what? They're still I'll go around. They're I just noticed, I wasn't even paying attention, they're weed whacking the place, so I'll go back later. Man, that stinks. I wanted to go down where they're weed whacking. It's cool down there. I remember that spot. Anyway, this place was started in 1836. I believe the date was. You know, back then, in the early 1800s, the cities along the eastern coast started exploding and with populations, and they were just, you know, paving over, building over, moving all the, you know, the cemeteries from early American history, back before, you know, people really cared about preservation and stuff like that. So they started this cemetery. And I believe it was the first large one of its kind. And like I said, I believe it was right after the Civil War in the 1860s is when the Fairmount Park happened. But look, here's some of the crypts. These things are cool. This is that old money. Me personally, I think the whole burying the dead and visit them is just one of the weirdest human concepts. You know. But I tend to think a lot of stuff is weird, and I don't get a lot of stuff, so. Place is big. There's the Schuylkill River down there. I mean, I could care less what happens to my body after I'm gone. Do whatever I want with it. Definitely don't want my family wasting money on something like this. I'm gonna go on vacation with that money. But I understand it's important culturally, and a lot of religions, you know, bury their dead. Oh. Statues. Now the Potter's Field is around here somewhere. And that's important because that's where a lot of the homeless end up. When they die down in Philly, Kensington, when no one to claim their body or they can't identify them, they'll end up in a potter's grave. And I believe it's Laurel Hill, or it might be the Mount Vernon Cemetery down the street. There's a couple of them right in here. One of those girls I interview from out of town, in Kensington, they overdose, no ID on them. It's a very good possibility they'll end up right here. Not right here, but in the potter's grave. (1792 to 1859). This is in memory of 3 infant children back before we knew what science was and C-sections. Let's see what this one is. October 19th. Oh, 28th, 1819. See an arm come out of there, I'm out of here. This is going to be really cool to fly the drone over. Look at some of these obelisks, I think they're called, right? I mean, they just look like... Never mind. The Stetson hat, man, a lot of people don't realize Stetson hats, the old cowboy hats, their original factory was here in Philadelphia. Germantown Ave, I believe. And he's buried in here. I was just over Kensington, but every cop in the world is there pretending like they care about xylazine for a couple days. I went there, I filmed it, but I'm not going to post it. I wound up screaming at the drug czar that Biden sent here. He called it an emergent threat. That shit made me so mad. It's clearly been here for years. I mean, how do you call it an emergent threat? Look at this thing. James Elverson. You gotta have a lot of money, I'd assume, for something like that. Go up. Let's see what's this way. That's just Kelly Drive down there. I kind of want to try fly the drone. This is crazy. Now I did a video, one of the first ones I ever did at a different, it was in another very old cemetery in Philly. It was abandoned for a while. It's just the owners had, I guess, foreclosed on, or they died or whatever, and it just went to a really bad state. And then recently, by recently I say maybe 20 years, someone has a foundation or whatever the case is, has started cleaning it up. But that one and this one were the two, the original. Look at this. I wonder where that's from. Oh. Right up there. They were the original big cemeteries here in the Philadelphia area. Now I'm actually walking towards where Boathouse Row is. And you could see, hold on, I don't know if this zoom is good enough. No. All the way in the distance, there's a whole nother section of this cemetery, another part of the, on Lehigh Avenue it is. Mine. In the 80s. I mean, the 1880s, 1910s, all the way up to the 1940s in there. Now, I used to do stonemason work for a couple of years, and I just can't imagine how much it would cost to build these things. See, it goes all the way over there. Just keeps going down. You'll see how big it is once I put the drone up. Van Zant, Hastings. It's gonna be my first. I flew the drone at the high school the park right near my house yesterday. This is gonna be the first one, so hopefully I don't mess it up. The new ones are so good though, it's almost impossible to crash. Now I just jinxed myself, so it'll probably crash right away. Look at these things, man. You can hear the kids playing recess right across the street.